Hi, I'm Greg Gutfeld, now gently ribbed for your pleasure. Here's what's coming up. Brexit, it's fun to say. Brexit, Brexit, Brexit. But what is it and why should you care? More importantly, how's my hair? I feel sexy. Plus, is Donald on the rebound or is it just a pause on the long road down? It's a great question, which I'll probably ignore. And later, the hottest commodity in politics, Sanders supporters. Will they vote for Clinton, Trump, or Chad from The Bachelorette? Let's get started, America. There's a hot tub downtown with my name on it. Let's welcome tonight's guest. He's so big his body's divided into both commercial and residential units. TNA wrestler Tyrus. Yes, like a rock star's hotel room, she's always trashed. To Joanna Osachensky. His beard is home to 5 small hummingbirds. Gavin McInnes. Nice sock. If good news were a parade, she would rain on it. National Review reporter Kat Timpf. Yeah. And first-time guest, he's got the mind of Bernie Sanders, the tie of Tucker Carlson, and the hearts of all the ladies in a bag under his bed. Harlan Hill, Democratic strategist and chair of Democrats for Trump. But first, all right, it was the exit that rocked the UK this week. Yes, Harry Styles of One Direction is going solo. We pause now to honor this legendary artist. That's enough. That's enough. I wish you well, old friend. Now to Brexit. Yes, Great Britain voted to leave the EU, shocking the media. Here's the staff of the New York Times taking the news.
I felt outraged, but I didn't scream and I didn't cry. And I need to.
So what's this really about? Is it nationalism, fear of change, the spread of Islamism? Earlier this week, former London Mayor Boris Johnson got to the meat of it.
Boris, can you name me a single
haggis? We cannot export haggis to America.
Haggis. 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 That's what this means for America. Could the UK now negotiate a free trade agreement with us that includes haggis? A banned export since the 70s, this savory dish is a delicacy, which is Scottish for something a drunk threw up. Haggis is made with the liver, lungs, and heart of a sheep. All that's missing is the collar. You mix in chopped onions and stock, add in some oatmeal and raw fat, and you take all of it and you stuff it into a sheep's stomach. Yes, the casing is an actual sheep's stomach. Pretty funny, stuffing a sheep into his own stomach. Oh, something I always wanted to do with Sean Penn. Now, due to this ban, we've tried to make our own imitation haggis here, which is like replacing the Beatles with Coldplay. It's not the same. Some have a fake casing, some are vegetarian. Vegetarian haggis, otherwise known as vagis. Without real haggis, you also don't get haggis hurling, which is a sport. It's better than soccer. So, how did Brexit happen? Strip away nationality from a proud people, push polarizing identities, mock their need for security. With that, you just ask people to give up what they hold dear, which is themselves. See, haggis is a tradition. It goes back to the 15th century. It's part of British culture, and that's what the vote's probably about. It's like religion. You know, people see more mosques than chapels, and they worry, even if they don't go to Mass. It's the same thing with haggis. Maybe not everyone eats it, but it's good to know that it's still there.
Period.
I did not compare haggis to religion, but maybe I did. All right. I want everybody's opinion on this. I'm going to start with you, big man, Tyrus.
You know, the stock market crashed.
Yeah.
The pound is done.
Yeah.
Jon Snow left the watch. The 7 kingdoms are all tore up. I mean, who's going to keep the White Walkers out now? I'm really confused.
You
Brexit,
are.
right?
Yeah, it's Brexit.
Yeah. I fell asleep reading about Brexit and watching Game of Thrones at the same time, so they're kind of the same thing. But
yes.
I mean, it's change. So, you know, let's wait to see what happens before we start throwing our hands up and calling Armageddon.
Yeah. You know what? So, in a way, using your metaphor, England is the dog that ate the EU's face.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, they Joffreyed him out in the middle of nowhere. Yep.
Thank you very much for that. Harlan, what did you make of this?
Well, I mean, I look at it as like a rebellion of the working class against, you know, the ruling class. And I think that it sort of foreshadows what we have coming in November. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so, too, because the people that voted for this really didn't say they were voting for it, Gavin, and then they voted for it, which is exactly what might happen with Trump, which we'll get to in a minute. But, you know, you were born in Scotland.
I was born in England. My parents are Scottish, yes.
Yes. So give us your opinion, perhaps in Scottish.
Well, I spoke to my parents about this, and I said, "Did you guys? It looks like you didn't vote for breakfast. Brexit. Sorry. They do always vote for breakfast, and that's clearly haggis every day." And my parents, they said, "What you have to understand, Gavin, is we didn't vote at all. I mean, there's about 1 million people voted for Brexit, and 1 million that didn't show up. So that's like 2 million. So in a sense, Scotland did vote to separate." And I think the Brits in England are the same way. I talked to my friends there, and they said, "I wasn't going to muck about with it, but I did look into it. And eventually, I realised that we can't talk about the Muslim problem if people won't even recognise. I mean, look at Tommy Robinson in Luton, and he's not even allowed to go in the Muslim areas in his own town, you know. So I just thought, this is beyond negotiation. We're cutting the cord."
There you go.
And I said to both of them, I go, "I don't understand."
Joe, where do you see England going? Is it like it's like they dumped a rich boyfriend, a rich boyfriend from Belgium?
Well, yeah, and as soon as you do that, right, you're like, I'm fine.
Yes.
I'm gonna be fine.
And then you get a job waitressing.
Yeah, but you know, it's never really the same. A lot of people don't know what's gonna happen.
Right.
That's why the 2 top searches on Google in the UK right after this vote were, what happens when we leave the EU and what is the EU? Yeah. So I do think a lot of the vote was emotional rather than it was maybe practical, but now is when you have to practically apply what you're going to do. Thankfully, there's 2 years to kind of make it happen. Hopefully, you know, Great Britain can set themselves up for success with a great plan during that time. And I'm optimistic.
Yeah, you always are.
I choose to be.
I love it.
You are.
Because I love watching like breakups, other people,
right.
And I love watching global governments take a hit, and this just had it all. And like after the breakup, it's like it is a little uncomfortable and it's hard.
Right.
You're like, I'm an independent woman, but you're also like, I don't know how my air conditioning works. I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Like, but eventually now, like, not to brag, I figured it out. It's a comfortable temperature in my apartment. You can always call Ernesto, the super downstairs, and Britain will be fine.
No, it's true. It's true. It's like you got it. There is that terror of breaking up, but
just because it's better to be alone than be with the wrong one.
Yeah, it's so
This
true.
isn't a normal breakup, though. You still have to live with her for 2 years, so it's not like, hey, it's over. See you tomorrow.
It's like you have a kid together.
Yeah, we're just
It's like England and the EU had a kid together, and it's Slovakia.
Yeah, and you just hear the silverware every night.
You know who's not in the EU? Switzerland. Switzerland's like the most wealthiest country in the world. They are like they have the most millionaires per capita. I'm making this up. All right. So who did this Brexit ordeal work out for the most? That's right. This couldn't have worked out better for Donald. Not only is this vote being referred to as a victory for Trumpism around the world, he happened to be in the UK. This is crazy. He's like Zelig, as the results became final. He had this to say from Scotland.
To be honest with you, I think a lot of it has to do with immigration. But I also think a lot of it has to do with the fact that they wanted to be independent. They got tired of seeing stupid decisions, just like the American people are tired of seeing stupid decisions, whether it's the Iran deal, whether it's the border, where people just flow across the border like Swiss cheese. They're tired of seeing stupid decisions made.
So Swiss cheese flowing across the border. Yeah, I think he had it backwards, Tyrus. What do you think?
Okay. You remember I've been here for a long. I used to wear the Donald Trump shirt.
Yes.
I don't have a Donald Trump shirt anymore. This is He didn't answer the question.
So you're no longer pro-Trump.
Napoleon Dynamite have the same. It's probably the greatest thing of all time. He didn't answer the question.
Yeah.
Like, he just answered it's probably, if it's not the greatest, well, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
And geez, Scotland, yeah. It's like Iran. And
well, the Trump,
check out my hair.
the Trump shine is coming off you because you were on board early.
This was the thing for you?
No, it has been he's just, every time he gets on the TV, I'm like, what? I turn the TV off, and then it's on my phone. It's like everywhere I go, I step out my house. He says this again. But he's not saying anything.
I know.
And his base doesn't care.
No, nobody cares.
They don't,
do whatever
they don't care. They're still singing the wall song.
That's
a fact at the airport. I was eating breakfast at the airport, and a dude came up to me, and he had a little child in his hand, and his child sung, the song was like 2.
Yeah.
Said, hey, Tyrus, and sung me the wall song. And said thank you to me.
Yeah, that's...
Gab?
Yeah?
Thoughts?
He answered the question fine. He said there was a lot of factors. Immigration was a big one. You know, the UK purposely threw Muslims at the British working class problem just to antagonize them. And Brexit said, you know what, we've had enough of this weird class game you guys have been playing for thousands of years. We're snipping it. And Trump recognized that, and he's going to do that to America. Whereas with America, the problem is Mexican immigration and a foreboding long-term risk of, you know, recognizing this canary in the coal mine that is Islam in Britain. We're not there yet. We won't be for a while if we follow the Trump footsteps.
Is anyone making sense here, Harlan?
To be honest with you, I don't know that Trump really won this week. You know, whatever. Put this aside. I think Barack Obama's the one that actually really lost. You know, he tried to go over there and intimidate the Brits and say, like, hey, you know, if you leave, you're going to go back into the back of the queue. And, you know, I thought we had a special relationship with these people, and he's trying to intimidate them, you know, and it's not going to work.
Well, yeah, him using the words like special friend.
Yes.
Like, no one wants to be like your special friend. Like, we're secret friends.
It's also something your uncle says to you when he shouldn't.
Yeah.
My special friend.
No, that's they do use that lingo.
That's the word.
I saw a movie about that. Kat, last word to you.
I had only respectful uncles my whole life.
That's good. Yeah, that's true, by the way. Uncles get a bad rap.
They do. I had some great uncles. They took me to see Beauty and the Beast on ice.
I'm an uncle. I'm an uncle. There could be, you know...
oh, no.
My nephew was on this show. I did not touch him. Making that clear. He's a fine young man, just graduated from college. I think. Maybe that's not him. That was the guy that I met in Port Authority. All right. Coming up, I will never mention haggis again. But first, craziness on Capitol Hill. Democrats stage a sit-in on the House floor. Did it accomplish anything? Of course it didn't.